Welcome to Toffee TV. It's the debate. It's fast. It's the most up and coming Toffee TV patron show there is. Not like when they go on TV and go, table tennis underwater is the fastest growing sport in Indonesia.
Is it?
This is sort of like that.
Yeah.
I think it's becoming a fan's favourite.
In Indonesia?
I don't know. I have to check the analytics. Maybe in Turkey.
Turkey it might be. When we just debate Tosin, his right foot or his left foot, which is better.
Should just call it the Tosin debate. Tosin debate, and see what the views are like. We're continuing our little history lesson. It's about Joe Royle. Joe Royle's here. November 1994. He's just joined the club. We prized him away from Oldham. It's funny, isn't it, when you're like looking at managers and it's got to be I'm not getting a manager from him, I'm not getting a manager from there, I'm not going to do this. Oldham.
Ex-Everton, no money. He was linked with it. He wanted the job a few times, didn't he? And it just passed him by a few times. But when all the stars aligned at that time for him to come in, didn't he? And he wanted to come and.
Similarly to Sam Allardyce, I suppose he fitted the criteria as well. He'd had seasons struggling with Oldham. He'd obviously done really well with them. He kept them in the Premier League that season. He had got them to FA Cup semi-finals. He'd done really well with them, so I suppose from that point of view it was the right fit as well.
At the right time, because obviously we'd started the season poorly under Mike Walker, hadn't we? And again, it was I think just the Everton connection more than what he'd done at Oldham. Obviously, what he'd done at Oldham did give him his background and everything, but I think the Everton connection tipped it over the edge. And obviously, like I said, he'd been linked with us a few times, and he had done well at Oldham. Oldham were a tough side, they knocked us out the FA Cup a few years before, and they were within seconds of an FA Cup final till Mark Hughes scored an absolute worldie of a volley, and they'd done really well. So he'd done well, good attacking football. They were a bit, direct in terms of winning the ball, but he had two wingers, Rick Holden, who was like the worst footballer ever with the greatest left foot. I mean, he didn't have a trick, but he'd just stand you up, and his crossing ability was fantastic. And we'd had Neil Adams or someone else down the right hand side, and Roger Palmer and Ian Marshall,
Frankie Bunn
and all of those, and Milligan, and so he'd crafted a decent little side at Oldham. Dennis Irwin, yeah, Earl Barrett, so we just named Andy Gorham, just named the whole Oldham side from 25 years ago. So when his name was up there, obviously Mike Walker had gone, and Everton actually acted quickly, which was very un-Everton-like. I think they obviously knew who they were going to target. Walker went out the door. Joe came in and seemed to unite the players and the fans, and obviously ahead of a Merseyside derby when we were bottom and they were top. That night coming in on the Monday night, so he'd united that, and obviously it helped winning the derby, didn't it, on the Monday, and it set everything in motion. Got the right temperament. So
in terms of signings, then, I mean, this again, it's not a vast period of time. It's only what,
18 months, was it? Was it even that long? It was
a bit longer.
No, it was longer, wasn't it? It was November till April 97, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So 2 and a bit years. So just over 2 years, really, isn't it? 2 years.
Only one full season.
One full season, yeah.
Which is ridiculous when you think about it, when you think back, and a big waste opportunity. But didn't sign that many players, but there was a bit of a big turnover of players, and I think a newer calibre of kind of players were coming in as well. We weren't dealing with sort of bargain basements as much. We were on the up, and we were looking for bigger and better players.
And Peter Johnson putting the money in, didn't we? Freed us up a little bit more than what we'd had. And obviously the player I've gone for was. I'll be saying it now, or are we...
Go on, who have you gone for?
I've got to say Andre Chelsea. You've got to say Andre Chelsea because he was just incredible. He as a footballer, when you talk about world class, he was in that. When you look at an Everton team where a player would have got in any other team in the league, waltzed into any other team in the league. Well, he did. He'd come from the champions. It was only that had fallen out with Alex Ferguson, really. that he left, you know, and for Everton to get him at that time, he was playing for the champions and a key part of their team, for us to go and take him was incredible. And he delivered as well, albeit he was only there for a short period. That season, his full season, he had 16 goals. Absolutely incredible footballer.
He was absolutely unbelievable. Just one of the best players I've ever seen in an Everton shirt. Dynamic,
right foot, left foot.
Just had everything about him. Scared people. Genuinely
win
scared
games
the
on his
opposition.
own.
Yeah.
Win games on his own. Just incredible.
Genuinely scared the opposition. Felt like you had a world class player in your club and that hasn't happened that many times. No. As I say, for the year and a bit, 18 months or so that he was at the club, and obviously when he left the club, you know, we people felt like he wanted out, but he told us on this show that he didn't want out. I mean, you can only take his word for it, and you know, he said again a decision was made that the club wanted to make a profit on him and bring other people in, and sadly that's what happened.
He went out the door and we were all devastated. I know at the time he was out of form a little bit, but
still scoring goals though. He still scored goals.
He was, if he could have, he did. It was just it was kind of the month when we sold him, just around that time. He wasn't playing well, and then we'd had Bradford at home in the FA Cup, and he was arsing about with a ball, and Waddle took it off and scored, and people were, you know,
but also he came. That was he just had a great season, and then he had the Euros, and the Euros weren't that good for him. He underperformed really. Maybe there was a hangover from that as well, and he never quite did it. My one is it's Gary Speed. You thought I was going for Duncan, but the reason I've gone for Gary Speed is that yes, Duncan was brought on loan beforehand, and there was a big clamour to sign him, and we did, and it was a big thing. But I think what the Gary Speed is, and again, it's sort of similar to what yours is. We bought a player coming into the peak of his career from a club that are only 3 seasons before and were the league champions. Yeah. You know, and we bought a player on the up who was magnificent for us. You know, he came in, he replaced Barry Orn in the centre midfield, and on the first day he showed you what he had. You know what he had scoring against Newcastle. You know, we beat other teams to him, and he wanted to come and play for Everton, and he was a catalyst. He was showing you what we didn't have at the club at the time, and again, it was about where the club was going and where it wanted to go. And you know, we look around now and we look about signings, and you look about who we've bought this summer. But him and Kanchelskis. I know, you know, they really were. I know they were a summer apart, but it was almost like you bought one and now you're buying the next one. And it was almost like we were building towards something. And you know, a bit later on we bought Barnby. And we started to create this team by buying the best players around us from other clubs. And I know we've tried to do that in a way recently, but this felt a lot more.
But there was a structure though. Yeah. So what we had a base, we had a structure, and then we were buying players that went in and made that structure better. And I think, Gary Speed was absolutely fantastic for us. You know, even for the short period he was there, and obviously internal issues meant that he left Everton, you know, ahead of the time, and he didn't really want to leave Everton, but felt he couldn't continue there, and actually the way it played out, he wanted to come back in the summer. He'd only just left in the February he went, didn't he, and he'd already was trying to get back to Everton in the summer when we changed the manager and stuff. And again the following summer, but it didn't happen. He was a fantastic midfield player, had everything. He had our Steve, my uncle, worked with his dad, and for years when he was at Leeds, he was like, he's desperate to play for Everton. He's never told me and all that. And he was great, a goal scoring midfield player, fantastic in the air. I've got his boots actually. Give me a pair of his boots.
Bring them in.
Let me loft. Wore them at Gooders, showed him. But absolutely brilliant footballer, and in that team you know, when we had him, we had Kanchelskis and Gary Speed and Duncan Ferguson, and you know, we had a good side there, and like you say, Barnby came in, and when Barnby come in, I remember we won 1-0 at Derby County in December, and we were getting trouble. We were fourth, and people were saying Everton are the dark horses for the league, and 6 weeks later it all.
We were a little bit like, I suppose at the time, we were a little bit like the equivalent to sort of Tottenham have been in the last couple of years. Maybe not now, but maybe a little bit before that. We had all the right pieces. We were building something really. Joe would come in, obviously first season. We won 3 on the bounce. You know, Liverpool, Chelsea, then the Leeds game. And we were flying with a bit of a wobble over Christmas. Got beat Boxing Day 4-1 by Sheffield Wednesday.
First goal after signing.
Yeah, and we had a bit.
Can I remember that header? You were winning 1-0.
Park-End.
It was a great header.
Watched it from a tree in the.
Mark Bright scored 2 or something.
But you know, we got ourselves sorted, and in the cup, obviously, we approached the cup a little bit more differently. We were a little bit more. We rode our luck at Bristol City. I remember that day. I remember being in Bristol thinking, we're going to win this.
Yeah,
because we got absolutely battered.
Well, we won third round. Hinchcliffe scored against Derby 10 minutes from the end, didn't he?
Craig Shaw played for them, and he played really well.
Yeah. And then we went to Bristol, and we were mullered, weren't we?
We were absolutely. I remember they had one, and I think it hit the post, and it just like run across the line. And I remember we got battered, and then Matt Jackson just popped up and smacked one, and it was a goal. And I remember their fans were trying to get on the pitch to get into our end, and all kinds. It properly went off, and but you just thought that day, and then you know we played the likes of like Norwich. We battered them. 5-0. And as players started to play, Limpar started to play football, and you know the league form was still up and down. Went to Ipswich, got the 1-0 win, and that was secured. And then obviously got semi-final. Newcastle, which was a tough game, and I remember we beat them 1-0.
They were flying, mate.
Dave Watson got the header, and I remember after the game.
The pitch.
What?
The pitch was just a sand pit.
I remember after the game. The draw had been done, and I remember all the Spurs, your next, and all this. And semi-final again, no real danger at all. No one ever thought. Don't think everyone wanted Man United Spurs, and we done Spurs that day. And then United, as we spoke about before, there was never any real fear. It's just like we stayed up.
Spurs was mad though, wasn't it? The semi, because I remember going. Just convinced we beat them, even though they were boss, and they had like Klinsmann and Sheringham and everything. They were like great attacking. Now I'd have like 15 tranquilizers to go the game. We bottle up, we go from the Monday.
It was just like a different feel.
Well, you just went and were like, we'll beat.
Was there less expectation, or not expectation? I think expectation is the wrong word. Just
less fear.
Less fear. Like football's just become all about fear.
I think
the fear of winning, the fear of losing.
Yeah. You're right, and I don't know whether it was because. Only a few years before, say a few years before, but like 10 and then 8 years before we'd won the league, so we'd had that taste and we'd won. I don't know whether it was that. I don't think obviously football was as much of a fishbowl as it is now. Everything's heightened now because of social media, so you didn't really, if you didn't have Liverpool fans with your mates, you didn't really converse with them, did you? So there was none of that. Other fans, other clubs, fans you didn't speak to, obviously. Because unless one was living in your area, why would you talk to it? And why would you know Newcastle fans?
Unless you're on a CB.
Or on a CB, break eyeball and all that shit. Whether or not it was because of that. So then teams, it was easier to like teams. If you know what I mean.
Because you didn't have to interact with their fans.
So if you looked at them, they play. Like Newcastle, I remember, around that time, Newcastle were brilliant to watch. And you were like, I hope these win the league.
I hated them.
Well, I didn't mind them, you see, because United just done my head. And so I was like, I hope they win. The brilliant to watch. They were really good, Beardsley and Andy Cole and all that, and they were great to watch. Now, I don't want them to win a raffle, I want them to win a bleeding throw-in, because the fans are just like that.
It reminded me then, if their fans, they were like copites.
No, I know, but I just mean as a team to watch, so you'd appreciate a good football, but once you interact now with the fans and you see that there's some dickheads around, you just think, I hope you don't win now and all that. But so I think there was less pressure, so when we played Spurs, it was just about the game, and you were just looking, going, we'll beat these because we're playing it. And obviously we came out that day, and it's still, one of the best Everton performances I think I've ever seen, from a position where we were underdogs. We were a bit, and to perform like that, like Newcastle was a battle in that quarter final. I remember Royle Fox missing a chance at the end into the side net at the Park End.
Yeah.
Oh no, was it the Park End or Street End? Yes, Park End, wasn't it? Into the side net when he should have scored right at the end, and I remember thinking, like, that's the semi. We're off to the semi.
Yeah.
But the semi-final, the display was just phenomenal. We beat them 4-1. We were brilliant, and they got a penalty that Sheringham won.
First goal we conceded.
Exactly, the only goal in the whole thing.
We conceded the whole thing. Yeah. No, we were brilliant, and
like you say, United going to the cup final again. That was a shame, and yeah, they just threw the league away at West Ham the week before. Yeah. It was mad.
It was mad, and it was like, but as I say, like, they had no Cantona in the final, and I don't know. I don't know whether. I don't know why. I don't know whether, like you just said, all those things, like whether it was just like because it was getting that back the first time we've been since like '89, and it was like we'll be all right here because no matter what happens, we've done well this season.
Yeah.
It wasn't sort of. I don't know whether like people just didn't put the expectation on it, so it didn't. You know what I mean? It was
more like magical, I think. It was going to the cup final, and it was like Wembley way and walking up. And what was mad was that when when Stewart hit the bar, I didn't follow the ball. I just focused on the net. So I just seen the ball. Everyone jumped up, obviously. I just looked at the net, and then I just seen the ball at the net. The expectation we would score. Not like, oh, what happened there? It was just like hit the bar, just stared at the net and the ball landed.
Imagine that now. I mean, what was that when we scored?
25th minute,
whatever, something like that. Imagine like the panic now, thinking you got to survive against that Man United side.
We were breaking near the end, trying to kill it, and Amakati, when Schmeichel come up and we broke, and he was no goalie, and he cut inside, just leathered it, and he went past another one, and then another one, then like held on to it. Where are you?
Just have a hero.
I
just remember for like the thing about me was the cup final was Dunk got it injured at Sheffield Wednesday. I was there, and I think they beat us 2-1 or 3-1 or something. And I remember it was like it was like, will he be back for the final? Will he be back? Because obviously he wasn't there for the final. That's why we had Graham Stewart. But it was the fact of Graham Stewart and Paul Rideout sort of got us there, and then Duncan was on the bench. He wasn't fit, but
do you remember though that obviously there was no mole, there was no Belfield mole cutting teams out, so they come out to warm up, and everyone was changed, like Stuart Barlow and everyone, even though he wasn't even in. Royle had them all changed. They were playing that sense. Duncan hadn't come out, so they all come out, and then Amakati jogged out, and everyone's clapping. Then they were all warming up, and there was nothing, and everyone was like, "You bastard, he's not made it." And then the next minute, because we were in the tunnel, and the next minute he just there, and he come out with the shorts on, and everyone's jumping up and down, and he just jogged at the t-shirt.
Because he was like our talisman, wasn't he?
Oh my God, he's fit. It was fucking boss, like.
Because he was our talisman. Yeah. Like it didn't, as long as he was playing, like
you had the
thing about it is 3 subs, 1 goalie, 2 centre forwards.
Fucking hell! It was to go for it, wasn't it? Royle, it was just we're going for
we had the players on the pitch,
and Stewart could have dropped into
and Inchcliffe could have played, so Gablet could have gone over.
Yeah, there was options, but it was still a brave thing, and he put both of them on. Both strikers came on. Do you know what I mean? Duncan went for the cross, and he just flattened Schmeichel and right through him, like, yeah, we'll see, lad. And remember this chance he missed? Hit it with a shin, and he went right across the goal, and you were like, oh, was that it for 2-0? And then Southall obviously pulls off that double save from Scholes, and you're just like, this is. I mean, when the whistle went, I was crying. Tears were just running down my face, and I was just like, my God. And then whinging again when we beat them on pens under Moyes, because it was fucking a long time. But it was just incredible. And then that feel good, that to win the cup was incredible. Went back there obviously and beat Blackburn, who were champions, despite Shearer fucking diving at the end. Remember that dive right at the end, went to beat them, Vinny, with a great cross shot. And it felt like something was happening. We got the Russian in, Conselsi came in, and we were on the move, weren't we?
Well, yeah, we brought in the first season, we brought in Duncan, and we brought in...
that was a big thing though, mate, because Walker had brought him in, and it was all, he's only coming for... was it a 3-month loan?
It was a 3-month loan.
It was 3 months, and I remember a few weeks before the derby, might have even been like 2 weeks, and even after the derby, they were saying there's absolutely no chance he's staying.
Rangers were saying
Rangers want him back. He's
we
not
wanted
staying.
him.
And Royle, I think the thing with Royle, but remember he got done for drunk driving
in town
the night before the derby.
Yeah.
And people were like, he shouldn't be involved and all that, and he just took Liverpool apart that night, bullied them, scored. And then obviously Joe, the relationship between them persuaded them, persuaded them to sign, and 4 weeks after Rangers saying there isn't a chance he's staying, he signed for 4 million. And so that was such a big, a big thing.
So, I just think he just felt like
these get me,
I'm all right.
And
no one's on my case.
Yeah.
I go home. I'm not. People not. Yeah, don't forget, he still had the ban.
Hanging over him.
He had the prison to all of it hanging over him, but he probably felt. Whereas I think Rangers maybe were a bit like, I just want to get rid of this fella. Whereas Everton were like, no, we'll look after him. Whatever happens, we'll look after him. We'll stand by you, which they did. And he signed. Just remember when he signed? Cause I'd already got number 9 Ferguson on the back of my shirt. Even when he wasn't with us, on the back of my white shirt, I've still got it at home. It's signed as well, and I was just like, I'm getting it. I don't care. I just don't care. I'm getting it because I just fucking loved him. And a whole wall in my back. I wish I took a picture of it. A whole wall in my room was just Duncan Ferguson pictures all around the sides. In the middle was a framed Duncan Ferguson picture that someone had drawn. And it was. I remember the day he signed for Newcastle, got lashed down the stairs. I loved him. I just fucking loved him because he just was a fella who would fight for you.
It's interesting that, because when we were talking on the final word and stuff, and you're talking about Williams and Snidling, deliberately getting sent off or thing. The amount of games Duncan just threw us under the bus, Derby counts.
I don't ever think though he
Bolton at home,
but I don't ever think
game, and he
I know, but
smack Freddie Bobic.
But when in those days, it was just it felt like it was done out of just pure anger and just.
Well, it was, wasn't it?
It wasn't like I want a week off. Maybe it was, but that's just the way it felt at times.
He had it. People used to kick shite out of him, and he just sometimes.
He had loads. Don't forget as well, and he probably had all those injuries as well. He probably just reacted to all kinds, and it.
No, but I love him. I'm just saying.
Was the way. But anyway, we brought in Earl Barrett as well, which I always thought was a weird signing because I thought Matt Jackson was there to get better and did in the cup run, scored the goal in the semi-final, scored the goal at Bristol. Was a good solid player. I just think he needed.
I think he liked Barrett because he was a good defender, didn't he? But he was dreadful going forward, wasn't he? He couldn't. He was a bit like Tony. He was
Matt Jackson, I just think needed time.
Jackson was great going forward. Defensively, he'd get caught out. I think Barrett was a better centre back. I thought because there was no expectation on him.
He was Jackson was probably more of a modern day fullback.
Yeah, he was.
So he brought, and then in the summer he brought in Craig Short, who, as I said, had impressed against us in the FA Cup. And was a good, solid player. And I like Craig Short. There was a time when he was really, really good, and you always thought everyone used to put him on. First goal scorer 40-1, and on Boxing Day he scored against Middlesbrough, and everyone made money on it. When we won.
He should bring the ball off from the back and everything.
Yeah, he's a good player. We brought him almost as the replacement for Watson, didn't we? And and obviously we brought Andre Conchelsa's $5 million. The following summer we brought in Gally Speed and Paul Gerrard. Less said about him, the better. And then the following summer we brought in Barbie, which was October. Terry Phelan and Klaus Thompson. So Joe didn't make that many signings.
No.
He thought, he looked at it and thought he had the core, and obviously then the bench was a big thing. You didn't have loads of space on the bench. You didn't need a massive squad.
Barbie was a good. I know.
Barbie again.
People don't like him.
Listen, Barbie was a good sign. If he hadn't been a good sign, Liverpool wouldn't have wanted him. So he was a good player. He scored important goals. He played in the hole for us as well. So he linked up really well, and with other players like Ferguson.
He was very good for Walter Smith.
Yeah.
Barbie, wasn't he? In that formation, he was brilliant for Walter Smith with the midfield at the court and Hutchison and that. He was nearly good.
But But what it shows is that we didn't. It wasn't like we went from a relegation fodder team to a team that finished just outside the European places. And if it was the way it was now, we would have been in Europe.
Singy goal, wasn't it? Was it Ian Wright?
Scored with Bergkamp, was it? He scored against Bolton.
Joe Parky scored the BBC Villa
Villa.
1-0, didn't he? Scored at the end, and then they scored just after it to finish.
But we were very close that season, but it was almost like, what was annoying was, it was like, well, we got Kanchelskis in, and then we got Speed, and then we lost Kanchelskis, and then we brought in Barbie, and then we lost Speed. I know now we're going away from Joe's era, but then we lost Joe. So it was always like 2 steps back, 1 step forward in terms of personnel, because we're buying good players, but as I say, that team, I mean, especially in the season when he left, I mean, like you said before, Derby County, we beat them, we're flying. I think that was like 16th of December, something like that. He leaves at the end of March. We'd only won 3 games, I think, between then and the end of March. And obviously he left on after the transfer deadline day. Because I remember it as well. I think we spoke about this before. We'd gone in for Tor Andre Flo. We wanted a centre forward. He wanted the midfielder as well, his mate.
Klaus Hector,
which was like that was like a sweetener for the deal, wasn't it?
I was a defender, wasn't he?
Yeah. It was like a sweetener for the deal, and again, like Kendall, we lose our manager because he won't sanction the sanction. And I remember as well, because we were on that day. We would it was done, Again, it was harder then because you didn't have all the leaks and everything. But it was it was like one that the Echo was saying, "Oh, it's done," and that's we were like, "Oh, it'll be done." And we were having the Umbro Cup in the summer, and there was a press conference. They were like, "Oh, we're going to a press conference at Goodison." There was like a local TV channel at the time on cable, Liverpool Lad or something like that. We're going to a press conference and everyone thought this is where they'll announce it. And I remember sitting there watching it, and for some reason I had the sound down, and I'm sitting there going, what's going on here? And I was like the manager of one of the teams we were playing, and they were talking, and Joe Royle was there, and he looked a bit sheepish, like this should be the press conference for the signing new players, and it wasn't. It's for this Umbro Cup. And I was just like, what? We were supposed to be unveiling the players. And I remember going to my mates, and when I got to my mate was like, Joe Royle's resigned, I was like, what? I've just been watching him, and literally just left the house watching him. And couldn't fathom it out. Just could not fathom it out. But, if you believe what, you hear, he went into a room with Peter Johnson, and somehow talked himself into leaving. It was like, I think he sort of went in there to bluff. Johnson called him on his bluff, and he ends up leaving with me by mutual consent. It's just mental.
Yeah, it was very, very it was very strange indeed, because that day as well, with the Flow and Echtervaag thing, we'd also agreed to sign Slaven Bilic and West Ham that day, and we wanted them then. Joe wanted them then, and West Ham wouldn't sanction. Said no, it'll be the summer. We won him till the end of the season basically, and Joe was a bit pissed off with that. Player wanted to come and all that, and then the Flow thing was done. It was signing today and blah de blah, and he ends up a few hours later walking out of a job, where he's obviously gone in and gone, well, I want both of these players, and I want them. And Johnson whatever he said, I'll design them and quit them. All right, so and that was it. It was done, and you're like, the problem was, I think the problem what had happened was we were really good, beat Derby and all that. I remember we went up to Borough and got beat 4-2. Joe Parkinson done. That was the day he got injured. We got battered at Middlesbrough 4-2 over Christmas time, and then we went on to like a bad little spiral. He was injured for ages.
Yeah, I'll give you the run of games. So we played.
We won at Derby, I'm sure it was like December the 4th.
So December the 16th we played Derby.
Okay.
We won 1-0.
Yeah.
And we were actually 7th in the league.
Okay.
So we were 7th in the league. The team that day was Neville Southall, Earl Barrett, Dave Watson, David Unsworth, Andy Inchcliffe, Andre Kanchelskis, Nick Barmby, Joe Parkinson, Gary Speed, Michael Branch, Graham Shue coming at half time, Duncan Ferguson. Nick Barmby scored with 3 minutes to go.
Yeah.
And I remember it because it was live on telly.
Yeah.
Then we played Leeds at home. We drew 0-0 with them.
Yeah.
Boxing Day went to Middlesbrough, got beat 4-2. Wimbledon at home on the 28th, got beat 3-1. Blackburn at home got beat 2-0, so 2 home defeats in a row. Played Swindon in the FA Cup, 3rd round, won 3-0. Went to Sheffield Wednesday and got beat 2-1. Went to Arsenal and got beat 3-1. That was the one where Duncan Ferguson, the big tower and
that was on live.
Bradford then beat us in the FA Cup. Newcastle beat us 4-1. Forest we won 2-0. Coventry we drew 0-0 with away. Arsenal we got beat 2-0. Southampton we drew 2-2. Leeds we got beat 1-0. So we're losing a lot of games here. Derby we beat 1-0. And then we played Man United and got beat 2-0. They were obviously top of the league at the time. And that was his last game. And then we went on afterwards. Dave Watson was caretaker manager. Got beat 3-1 by Villa. Drew 1-1 with Leicester. Beat Tottenham 1-0.
That kept us up that day.
Drew 1-1 with Liverpool. Drew 2-2 with West Ham. Got beat by Sunderland 3-0. And then got beat last game of the season 2-1 by Chelsea. So what had been a very promising season, we ended up finishing 15th, 42 points.
Well, when we beat Spurs, that was when Dydal played midfield, wasn't it? Then he left on a motorbike and went to China or wherever he went. That was his last game.
I think we had 30 points in the middle of December.
But that was the thing. We just the wheels just fell off. Parky got injured, and we just couldn't seem to put anything together. And then what happened was we'd lost a few games, and then Joe started getting some criticism, and he bit with the Echo and another couple of others, and he banned them from the training ground, so that intensified everything. So every defeat was highlighted, so it became a situation where it was like quite toxic.
It went full circle, didn't it? Let's be honest, it went full circle. He sort of left the club as he found the club, which was weird because of the players he'd brought in. But it's sad because if he'd brought in, he brought in Bilic, and Bilic wasn't a massive success, but you can understand it from Bilic's point of view. He signed for Everton looking up, and with Joe Royle, and maybe being promised new signings, and if Flo comes in, we've seen what he did with Chelsea. He was fantastic. And then you've got the basis then of a really good team. You keep Barmby, you keep Speed, and you add a couple more players. You've got the basis of a good team there, a good team that will challenge for European football at least. But we went the opposite way. Joe leaves, and then Howard comes in the summer. The club was all over the place. It didn't know. It's
Danny Williams.
Anything about it. We were buying. We'll talk about that in the next video. But it was just sad, wasn't it? It was just more than anything. It was just sad to see the way it all just.
I think it was one of them where it was an overreaction.
Yeah.
It was an overreaction, cost us.
I mean, we talk about overreactions now, but the mad thing about this is if I think back, no one was saying Joe Royle needs to leave, even though we hadn't won that many games. No one was going. People had patience, people had time for Joe. People saw the team, and probably you're right with Joe Parker. Joe Parker was a massive part of this team, massive. I know in the last video we talked about him, and we couldn't say he was I picked him, but. Can't say he was but he was a huge influence on this team. He was so good. He was on the door, knocking on the door for playing for England. He was so important because
it meant something playing for England.
But he used to sit in front of the back four, and that would allow Gary Speed to go forward. He was so important.
He was incredible, Joe Parkinson. He was he was just a brilliant footballer. For what he'd done, he was great at his job, and he'd allow everybody else to do their job. And we were a good side, and his injury cost us massively, and we had another couple of injuries and it didn't work out well, and we had Klaus Thompson there. He was shite. He was too.
But you know what, when we signed Klaus Thompson,
He'd been alright.
He'd been alright for Ipswich. Yeah. He'd been a bit of a playing loads of different positions, and maybe that's why I bought him, because again, he's the subs. Yeah. You need a player, but he just wasn't Joe. Because Joe, I think, was a leader.
Really?
I mean, I've got to know Joe personally, and he's such a sound fella and so humble though. Knows where he comes from. Evertonian through and through. Now, and I just think that he humble in his football as well.
Yeah.
Knew that his job was to do the fetching and carrying for the people like Speed and other players, and I think that was a massive loss. Of course, we lost Kanchelskis as well. He'd gone and
Limpar went not long after.
The wheels just came off, didn't he?
It was sad because it shouldn't have ended that way for a manager that won us a cup, won us our last trophy. It ended too quickly and in a way that it didn't need to, and was quite messy at the end. And
it ended any kind of relationship the fans had with Peter Johnson as well. Anything that he'd been forgiven for before, not sanctioning a deal here or there, but people probably give him the benefit of the doubt, we're keeping it for this, or so because it happens all the time, this in football. One person that something that they do that you praise them for suddenly becomes something that you
beat them.
Yeah, exactly, later on. It's happened recently with like Koeman and stuff. And I think it was the same for him. This was the thing that broke the camel's back. This was the thing where fans just went, whoa, hang on. That's the fella who just won us the FA Cup, and you're allowing him to leave without any kind of fight, and you're not sanctioning deals for him. We've seen this before. We were only a few years down the line from Kendall leaving, and the torment that caused us. Joe came in to fix something that had been broken because of a manager leaving, because signing's not being sanctioned. We're in a new era now, and and the mad thing is, we've seen this again. This is a video for another day, but we've seen this repeated later on in the Walter Smith era. So it's in that period. It was weird. It's not like no one said we had loads of money, but do it the right way.
You've got to back your manager. If you put someone in charge and you want him to fix it, and he's delivered for you, that's the other thing. He delivered the FA Cup. He delivered a top 6 finish. This is only the next season. We've won the FA Cup. We've gone into Europe. Alright, we haven't really done anything Europe, being knocked out, but the next season, that same season we finished 6th, we're a touching distance away from Europe again. We've had a strong first half of the season, got a few injuries, fallen a bit. Back this fella that's delivered for you. He's won you the cup and you've had a 6th place finish, and look how good you were at the start before the injuries kicked in. Back him, and we didn't, and we should have done. Johnson should have just signed off on it.
But I think Johnson was always guilty of, and I wonder whether it happened in this one, with he sanctioned Billage to come in, and you wonder whether he'd sanctioned the Tour Andre Flo and then pulled back, and then Joe might have said, well, I wanted Tour Andre Flo more than I wanted Billage. And he was guilty of that a few times, Johnson. He was guilty of that under Walter Smith as well, where maybe he promised too much and then had to go back, and then by the time it was done, it was like, you'd gone, well, hang on, I wanted him actually more than him, but you promised me both of them, and I've ended up with one of them, but actually I would have preferred the other one. I've missed out on something more important. Again, it's just another episode in Everton, just fucking it up royally, literally. Just fucking it up big time. And as I say, as a fan, I don't remember there being any panic. Of course, you look at the situation, but I remember then when we got Watson, and it felt like same old. It's like, fucking hell, we need a big win. We need a couple of wins here or a win here or whatever to stay up. And you're like,
we had to beat Tottenham, didn't we? We beat Spurs that day, and I remember that was like, we're all right now. We let Rideout go to China after the game. He actually got man of the match in midfield and got on a motorbike and went to the airport and went. That was the thing. And he'd gone out the door. We drew with Liverpool, unbelievably. Now we get beat like 54-0 or something, if that was the situation. But it was just mad. And you look back and just go, it's one of them where you were like, how did that happen? How all of a sudden we just lost a manager who'd had us a good record in the derby, had us a good,
who could have been
runners-up cup and could have been in place for a few years.
Could have been in place for 10, 15 years. Well, 10 years
10
maybe.
years,
With the right back.
He could have been up to Moyes, couldn't he?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He could have took us. I think he was only in his 50s at the time, so he was young enough.
But that's what I'm saying. He could have easily have stuck around, and with the right backing and the way the Premier League.
Yeah, because he's 68 now, isn't he? So with 8, so 20, he's 48, which is ridiculous.
So with the way the Premier League, when Kendall came up for the third time, he was younger than when how old Koeman was when he took over. So that's exactly. No, but if he'd stayed in charge, and the way the Premier League was growing, and the way he'd been a manager under, knew the experience, the way he handled players, and the way he'd handled big players like Chelsea, like Lampard.
Who knows where?
Who knows? Over a fucking stupid little spat that should have been.
Well, that should have been handled better by Johnson as well, shouldn't it?
But Joe's even said himself, he should have walked into the room to kick off about something, and I've walked out, not the Everton manager, and not quite sure why. And he said since, I wanted to, I shouldn't have made that mistake, but he has. And it's just another self-sabotaging moment in Everton history.
We're brilliant at self-sabotage. I mean, that's what we're great at, self-destruction, and until we stop these stupid mistakes, everything's just repeating itself.
Well, then someone else has to come in to pick the pieces up, and again, someone has to come in and do a job that's not really their job. They're just cleaning up for the next fella.
The whole thing about this was, and it was, I remember because I was in university, and I remember getting stick off some Reds after Royle had gone, because this was the famous, the names are going to excite you, who we've got for the summer, world class manager lined up, he's in, and the names, the players we've got lined up. So you're like, oh, alright then, he's got rid of Royle, was safe. Summer he's going to bring in a big name and going to spend some money, and as it transpired, Andy Gray was one.
Yeah.
We had Wim van Hanegem, remember him, the Dutch fella, we were linked with him. He was famously pictured sitting on the post as well. And he was like, give me the job of Dutch manager, and Bobby Robson I think they wanted, but Bobby Robson hadn't given them any indication he wanted it. So all of that was going on, and you're like, stop making promises that you can't keep, and that was what happened. And we ended up getting Howard in, because Bobby Robson fell through, Howard Kendall Andy Gray fell through, because we didn't, again, Andy Gray was there going, alright, where do we sign? Go and play golf, and let us know in a couple of days.
What DJ Spuddles here?
So Andy Gray went off to what's it called? Spain, that play La Manga, to play golf in Spain. And
Sky put a contract in front of him.
Sky heard about it and went, you haven't actually signed the deal with Everton, right? Bang. And Andy Gray, he said he tried to contact Everton to say as if what's happening, and he couldn't get hold of anyone. So Sky signed this thing, and the thing with Andy Gray was he'd lined up Dwight York had agreed to come and stuff like that, and when Dwight York was at Villa and was like 18-20 goal a season striker for Villa, and it didn't happen, and we ended up with Gareth Farley on a tribunal, I think, in the summer, and that was the world class name, and watch who we signed, watch this space and all that, ended up being laughable. Slab and Billy.
Leave that for the next one anyway. Leave that one for the next one. But yeah, another exciting chapter of Everton fucking themselves quite literally. Yeah. Only Everton.
Oh. So we had that thing, didn't we? No other club, remember?
Yeah.
With the 3 dots a few years ago when we done our 100
years. No other team.
100 and, yeah.
There you have it. Another massive fuck up by Everton Football Club. But anyway, Baz has picked Andre Chelsea's. I've picked Gary Speed. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching the debate. We'll see you later.